Ever wondered what happens when the corner office goes dead quiet? For decades, our entire existence has been defined by high-stakes execution, relentless scaling, and being the ultimate decision-maker in the room. Our calendar was a weapon, and our time was monitored down to the minute. But then, the final handshakes are exchanged, the succession plan is triggered, and we step down. Suddenly, that absolute freedom doesn't feel like a reward. It feels paralyzing. The transition from managing an empire to staring at a blank schedule can trigger a profound identity crisis. When we have spent our whole life calling the shots, we don't just stop. We don't just fade into the background. We need a new strategy. If we're trying to figure out how to write our next chapter without losing our minds, here is the blueprint for a legendary retirement. Let's look at the first major avenue, leveling up how we impact the world. When people hear the word charity or helping, they usually think of writing a passive check to a foundation and attending a gala. But for a retired executive, that is an incredibly boring use of leverage. We have spent a lifetime accumulating rare, hard-earned execution data, strategic foresight, and structural knowledge that money simply cannot buy. True impact comes in three distinct layers: financial, practical, and emotional support. Financially, we aren't just donating. We are acting as elite angel investors or philanthropists, injecting capital precisely where it can disrupt stagnation. Practically, we can step into the trenches as master mentors or advisors for raw, high-potential talent, guiding hungry founders through the exact bureaucratic and market minefields we survived. And emotionally, we can provide the steady, unshakable backing that young leaders desperately need when the pressure gets intense. Deploying our accumulated wisdom to build up the next generation isn't just charity. It is the ultimate legacy move, ensuring our influence outlasts our career. But what if we can't just step back? What if we are true, unadulterated workaholics who thrive on the chaos of the build? That brings us to the second avenue, launching a completely new venture, but this time entirely on our own terms. For a prominent CEO, our public identity can become a cage. Every move we make is scrutinized by shareholders, the media, and competitors. If we feel like our current corporate frame is too fixed, rigid, or high-profile to let us innovate freely, we don't have to quit the game. We just change our setup. Start a brand new business under a fresh identity, or operate entirely from the shadows. Build a stealth mode startup, launch an anonymous digital product, or fund a project where nobody knows our track record or our real name. This strips away the artificial praise and the heavy burden of our reputation, throwing us right back into the raw, unfiltered thrill of the early stage build. We get to test our pure strategic instincts in the wild all over again, proving to ourselves that our success was never about the title or the corporate machinery. It was always about our mind. The third major avenue involves closing the open loops on our past. When we were completely consumed by building an empire, time was a luxury we simply did not possess. Relationships were often sacrificed, sidelined, or calculated through a lens of utility because the grind demanded absolute focus. But now that the noise has settled, it is time to reconnect with old partners, forgotten allies, or a past love interest. Go track down the people who knew us before the title, before the wealth, and before the armor of success took over. Have those deeply honest conversations that we had to suppress or delay for decades. Express the raw gratitude, apologize for the distance, or confess the feelings we locked away for the sake of our career. Resolving these lingering emotional debts isn't a sign of weakness. It is a vital step toward reclaiming our humanity. Fourth, we must deliberately tap into childhood nostalgia to find genuine clarity. For the majority of our adult life, every action had to have a return on investment, a strategic purpose, or a clear metric for success. We forgot how to do things just for the pure, unadulterated joy of doing them. To break out of the sterile corporate mindset, we need to look backward. Go back to the raw, unpolished things we loved doing before spreadsheets and boardrooms dominated our reality. Whether it is picking up a long-lost creative hobby, playing a simple game, or quietly visiting the childhood neighborhoods that originally shaped our worldview. Reconnecting with our younger self is essential. It strips away the artificial layers of the executive persona and reminds us who we actually are at our core, bringing a profound sense of peace that no corporate victory ever could. The fifth avenue is to become an invisible observer of the world we spent a lifetime shaping. For decades, we only experienced the world from the back of a luxury vehicle, a private lounge, or a secure boardroom. We were constantly insulated from reality by our status. To break that artificial barrier, we can travel through public spaces completely in disguise. Sit quietly on a park bench, ride public transit, or walk through a crowded market undetected. By stripping away our prominent status, we get to watch, judge, and truly understand the younger generation without any filters. We get to study the raw, unedited mechanics of human behavior, see how the world operates when it isn't trying to impress us, and regain a grounded, authentic perspective on society. Sixth, we need to completely shed unnecessary societal constraints and expectations. Our time on this planet is finite, and the clock is relentlessly ticking. We have spent our entire lives optimizing for external opinions, corporate governance, and perfect public morality. But at this stage, we must ruthlessly prioritize our own fulfillment over societal definitions of correctness. If there is someone we deeply cared about from our past, and we are both older now, we owe it to ourselves to tell her exactly how we feel. If she is alive and single, why let arbitrary rules hold us back? Forget traditional hesitation and marry her. When you realize the end line is approaching, wasting time on conventional worries is foolish. We must secure our personal peace, speak our truths, and live purely for happiness. Finally, the ultimate destination is to fulfill the deep personal dreams that money alone could never buy. We successfully mastered the financial game and climbed to the absolute peak of material wealth. But capital doesn't automatically satisfy the human need for genuine connection or unfulfilled passions. True retirement is about looking at our life's ledger and closing every single open loop that remains. Whether it is an artistic pursuit, a personal challenge, or a deep emotional bond, we must spend our remaining time chasing what actually satisfies our soul. By aggressively checking off these non-material goals, we ensure that when the curtain finally falls on our journey, we don't just exit the stage. We finish it on a perfect, completed, and profoundly happy note. If you want to stay ahead of the game and unlock more elite strategies for your post-executive life, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below and share your own retirement roadmap or the projects you're building from the shadows. We are tracking every single story. Turn on notifications so you never miss a blueprint, and let's dominate this next chapter together.